Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Splatoon 3 Edition Nintendo Switch Pro Controller and comparing it to some other controllers you may be familiar with so we can look at the differences and help you decide if this is worth it. Also, enjoy this bonus unboxing while I remind you to like and subscribe if you like Nintendo Switch unboxing videos. We're getting closer to 5,000 subscribers every day, and I really appreciate you all. Oh, and I also picked up this case, which is really cool. Dude, I actually didn't even know it had this backside to it. The two-tone just looks awesome. This case is sick. It'll fit the OLED Switch and the regular Switch. But hey, you're here for the controller, so let's take a look at this thing. Oh, you can already see the color. Nice. Again, they are going the extra mile with that two-tone grip handle, and you know I'm always a fan of that black on black design. That just looks so awesome, so subtle, and I really like the pattern on there. And the grips, as usual, are looking really good. Now let's see how this Pro controller compares to the other ones. I've got the PowerA Wireless Enhanced Controller, and these are really good. They've got buttons on the back, and they come in a lot of different Nintendo designs. I brought the 8-bit Do, which also has buttons on the back, and more of a PlayStation layout with the sticks, and an Xbox controller just to give you a frame of reference. So let's first look at the D-pad. It's a little soft, but it feels really responsive. The PowerA feels more like a button, but it's not bad either. The 8-bit Do is going to be more like a Super Nintendo, so it's actually better for retro games. This doesn't really feel more like you're going to be just playing on this with a 2D game for a long time, but you could. And the Xbox is the most buttonish out of all of them. I would say this is a better D-pad than the Xbox, and I like that it does feel soft compared to the PowerA. So obviously not as good as the 8-bit Do, but it's a pretty decent D-pad. It's also worth noting it sounds the least hollow out of all of them. For some reason, all these other controllers, it just sounds a lot more hollow. This just sounds better. The L and R feel really good too. PowerAs are really loose and the most kind of like buttons. 8-bit Do, again, really feeling retro right there. And they've got a lot more travel with the L and R because it is more customizable, but I actually don't like the way that feels. Xbox triggers feel the best, so you won't quite be getting that feeling with the Nintendo controller, but it's pretty close. Definitely better than the Joy-Con. The buttons on the Pro controller are honestly probably the mushiest of the bunch. PowerA feels the most like you're actually just pressing a button. It's either on or off. Xbox is a little loose as well. 8-bit Do, again, of course, has more of that retro feel. Not bad. The Joy-Con buttons are much more springy, but honestly, you gotta love the size of these buttons. I do find them to be the mushiest of them all, and they're really loose, but I have to tell you, after playing a game for a while, I just really don't notice it. As far as the menu buttons go, these are actually really flush, which I get it, but it does kind of throw me off, and they're very similar, and they're very, you know, placed near each other. So sometimes if I'm trying to do like a menu, I actually take a screenshot. That is kind of one problem I have with these buttons. These other controllers have the buttons raised up so you can actually feel them and know where you're going, or they're just way off to the side, which is pretty cool. With the Joy-Con, these buttons are way out of your way, and they're tiny, so you kind of know if you're pressing them. It's kind of on purpose. All of these controllers have rumble except for the PowerA. Only the Nintendo brand is going to have HD rumble. I personally don't care about that. Let me know in the comments if you actually do like HD rumble. I'm really curious. All of these controllers have rechargeable batteries, but with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, you can't just put in your own batteries. That means if your controller dies out of the blue, you have to plug it in. As far as the sticks go, you're gonna have more travel than the Joy-Con, obviously, and I think that's one of the main reasons to get this. Now let's take a look at how well these control. PowerA sticks are decent. You know, they kind of curve in and they have a little bit of a lip, so your thumbs, they stay on there pretty decently, but you'll notice they're lacking a little bit on the ridge department as far as your thumbs kind of touching this outside. This means your thumbs can sometimes kind of slip off the edge. The 8-bit Do and Xbox do really good with the ridges, almost like tire tread. Xbox sticks are probably still my favorite, but take a look at this. They actually have these kind of ridges along the edge, and while the sticks don't really dip in, the rubber on them is actually the grippiest out of the whole group. And I gotta say, the sticks just feel really tight, really high quality. And I think that's what you'll find about this controller. The ergonomics are just really good. I mean, obviously, it's not a perfect controller, but I think for a Nintendo Switch, this is probably the best controller you can get. Something about it just feels so solid and so well built. It also has Amiibo support, which the other ones don't. But what do you think? Does it sound like it's worth the price to you? I think these are all good controllers, and I also think sometimes you get what you pay for, and that's true in this situation. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and then tap on those boxes on your screen, and I'll see you over there in another one.